All right, so episode number 2. If you haven't watched the first episode, it's up here. I'm gonna have to get used to which way to push that. I think it'd be up this side. Episode 1 will be there, and the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. I've got a journey for you today. I'm gonna go show you all the old buildings that my old big agency was in and recollect some of the reasons why I'm possibly now doing what I'm doing. I'm also going to then go through the thought process of registering a business name and a domain name, and which I've just done all of that. So we'll get on the computer and type it out, and I'll show you exactly what I've done. And then let's talk about Shopify and why I'm using Shopify. So journey number 1 is going to be talking about that business name, trading name, how I'm setting up the company. Journey number 2 is going to be come for a drive with me, and let's check out some of the old things that I used to do. So I thought today I might try a bit of a vlogging style and take you guys on the journey with me. So dogs, come on outside. Maxus. Come on girls, outside, I've got to go out. Bye Lucy. Bye Max. Alright, so I just need to get a tripod out of one of the cars. Okay, so I've got a client's car at the moment. It's a lot of my customers are 4-drive customers. So I've got this car, which is a D-Max. It's 4-drive, it's kitted out, it's got like rooftop tent and everything on it. All right, that's an issue. Can't get into that car. Not sure what's going on there. Right, plan B, we'll take my car. I'll just go grab the keys for that. I guess I'm not getting this tripod out today. Right, so anyway, Chameleon is a customer. I do their marketing, their social media, a little bit of their website work, and help them out day to day. Before we head off, this journey of where I've been and where I've worked from, it's kind of gone full circle. So currently I work from home. Like I said in the last video, I've got a modest 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom family home. It's got a mortgage. My wife Casey, Ollie my boy, and our 2 dogs live here. We are stupidly happy here. I wouldn't want to work anywhere else right now. I love working from home. I love being present with Ollie. It's school holidays right now, so I get to hang out with him a bunch and I still get work done. I say I've gone full circle because this first location is just around the corner, and it was a rental that we used to have, and that's where I first started the old agency, and I worked from the spare bedroom of that old house. So let's just do a quick little drive by and I'll talk about that period of my life. And this is where I was working from home initially. We're just coming up on it now, so I'll turn my camera around. So very tight little kind of streets and suburbs. It's a little kind of community area on the water. And just around this corner here was the first work from home location. Oh, it's for lease. There you go. So that was the first place that I worked out of a spare room. During my time working there, I got busier and busier. We had staff, we had a bunch of customers. I worked my absolute tail off in the sales and marketing portion of that business. And I was largely also on the tools there. So I was doing a lot of marketing for customers and a lot of their campaigns. Right there that we've just been to was the formation years of what I was doing and kind of what I do now. It was after years of freelance work, I'd gone on to be a corporate marketer and I worked in big corporations. Then I jumped ship and went back to doing agency work. So that house that we just went to was the first step back into doing my own thing as an agency owner or as a freelancer again, and that's where we really started propelling what I did in that old business. So the next one that we're going to go look at is we're going to go check out that corporate office now, which I think we're in for 2 years, and we outgrew that with staff and creative space. All right, so this next one was, I'm going to say this because I'm not going to offend, well, the only person that I might offend, I'm not really worried about. This one was a mistake in my eyes. This one was a full corporate tower, which I didn't really enjoy my time in. It was crammed, it was tiny, there was too many rooms, and it wasn't really a creative space. This was, I guess, a collaborative decision to come into here, and it wasn't the one that I would have enjoyed. Was that one there? I can't really get in there because it's now... I'll come out to the balcony. So looking back on it, that space right there was probably one that I didn't enjoy because it was too corporate, right? Look at this, like there's high rises and towers. Like this was part of a 3-tower complex, and we had about 100 or 90 square meters in this office here behind me, and it was pokey, it was individual rooms, and it was a very corporate space, and it wasn't really a space that suited a creative agency. Even down to little things like the carpet on the ground was this really gross blue carpet. I think I've got some footage of that. And that carpet used to peel up, and every time we'd try and take photos of something, we'd end up with like literally carpet pubes in the photos, and we'd have to Photoshop out everything. It was very hard to build culture around a creative agency in a corporate style office suite. So we lasted this one for I think 2 years, and then it got bought by the company that owns most of the office space on this floor, and we got out of here. So I'll go take you to the next one, which was my favorite space, and I kind of wish I was still there. So this one here means a lot to me. This one here was where I got to do the fit out. This was my creativity. This was my baby. We had the most staff, I think 22 staff when we had this one. This one had a cool setup. So this one had boardroom downstairs. Upstairs was the office space, and it kind of worked for what I was doing. It had this beautiful studio space out the front, or out the back. I'll go show you that now, see if we can see him. Alright, so this one's a bit hard to explain, but this one was the next step after that corporate office. We came here, and this was where we truly got to be creative, right? This was the space where we had full product and video studio downstairs, and then upstairs we had the actual marketing agency. So at this point of trying to get the sun onto my eyes, at this point of the journey, this old agency was quite large, 22 staff, about 100 customers. This was its prime. So downstairs I had built a full product photography studio, double height warehouse. All the paper backdrops were on rollers, so you could push the button and wind the paper backdrops down. I'm sure I'll cycle through some footage that I've got of the space. Beautiful polished floors. The creative team worked downstairs, and it was just an amazing place to be and work. Now upstairs was the like the agency space, Facebook advertising, Google advertising, and most of the staff were upstairs there. The sales team were up there, and this was the prime. This was the space that gave us the most fun, the most culture building, And ultimately it was the space that I ended up finishing with that company. So I sold my share of that agency, and from there I went to the next space, which I'll show you in a second. But that, I kind of don't want to get back to that, but I do want to get back to that on my terms, and I want to get back to that with this new e-commerce business which I'm going to be doing. I actually forgot to mention, while we were in that space, we actually had an e-commerce business. Took over a client's business and ran it for a short period of time. I'm not sure quite what happened to that, but that business was still operating out of there. So it was a kids' shoes business. There was a couple of hundred SKUs. Took about 120 square meters of space, and we ran that from that building there. So e-commerce wise, that was one of the larger e-commerce operations that I have run. Personally, we did all the fulfillment, we did all the shipping, and that happened from that space there, or that building there. That was good memories, that one. Good and bad memories. This next one was the last commercial premises that I've been in since my current arrangement of working from home. So this one is a commercial shed or a commercial building, a warehouse. Upstairs was a mezzanine, and I rented the mezzanine as the office space. Brophy and I worked from upstairs, and then downstairs was a big white studio. So Bree, the girl who set this up, actually had the studio set up as a natural light studio. Everything painted white, some props and stuff. I just bring my studio gear downstairs and use that to shoot products. So I could fit vehicles in there, I could set up and get good distances away from backdrops, that sort of stuff. So I used to rent upstairs there, and then that was the studio with all the space in it. I'm going to see if I can actually get in. No, code's been changed. So this was the stopgap. So this one was actually a sublease of a sublease. So I was upstairs, there was the studio. That's the last premises that I had before I went back to working from home, which is currently what my arrangement is now. So let's quickly start the conversation about the next journey that I'm on. Now, we'll pick up the rest of this back in the office at home, but I just wanted to give you the quick insight about what my journey over the last couple of years has been. I started off in a home office. I started an e-commerce store in that home office, which I ended up selling. I grew bigger and bigger in the business that I had, and 12 months ago I shrunk back down. Now, I just happened to have found myself back at home in a home office again, and I think I am the happiest and most content I've been in a heck of a long time. So this next stage of the journey for me is, it's now time to do what I've been doing for my customers, right? I've built lots of very, very efficient and profitable online stores for people, and Casey and I have thought, well, let's do that for ourselves. Now, the first part of any business is going to be searching for a business name, searching for an idea, searching for product, all that sort of stuff. As of last night, we have absolutely nailed down the business name. I've registered the domain names, and I've just got to call the accountant now and go through the whole company setup and the company registration. By the way, I'm going to have links in the description throughout all of this series for affiliate referrals. It's a little way for me to make money as I do this series, and I'll only ever put links that I think are valuable for you. So the first link that I'm going to start introducing is a link to Shopify. Shopify's currently got a 3-month deal going on where you get a free trial to start with, and then you get 3 months, and each of those months is just $1. So you get 3 months for $3. That's a phenomenal discount that you can take, and I've got a link that you can follow to get that discount, and that will give you the chance to try this for yourself. So let's just get back home, and I'll set myself up in front of the computer, and we'll have this final chat, and I'll show you what I've done and how I've set up my domain name, and we might call my accountant and see if she answers and go through the process of starting up the company. All right, let's get there. So bear with me on this one. I just took about 15 minutes to go through that tour of all the different locations that my business has been in the past. This is probably the stuff that you came for though. So let me just share my screen and let's talk about registering a domain name, searching for trademarks, and the steps that I've just taken to register this new business. So I'm going to keep the business name a secret for a little bit longer because I don't really want to reveal the product. Now, the business name has the product essentially in it, and I've done that to help with SEO down the track and getting found, and it'll all make sense when you see that. But when I first come up with a business idea, whether it's e-commerce or anything, I always go to a domain registrar like Crazy Domains to start with. And I use this as kind of my search tool to see what's available. So let's look to see if I could register a domain name called Dave's Drones. Crazy Domains tells me that Dave's Drones is the .com.au is available, the .co is available, and we'd have to just search for the .com. The .com, it's coming up. The .com's on back order. So if I wanted to register, say, Dave's Drones, the .com or the True International domain name is actually taken. Next thing I'd do would be search that davesdrones.com and see if there is a website on there. At the moment it's parked with GoDaddy, so that means I could possibly buy that domain name if I chose to. I could use I could use GoDaddy as a brokerage service and they reach out to the owner. I have a feeling they mark that up, or you could do a whois lookup. There's plenty of them around. I tend to just find this one, whois lookup for Dave's Drones, and sometimes you will find the actual contact details of the person who registered that domain name. So this one looks like it's all hidden. There's no name and phone number for a direct person there, but sometimes you will find that a domain name has the owner's details or the registrar's details if you do a whois search, and you can potentially secure that domain if it's not used, or even if it's used but it hasn't had any action for quite a long time. Look, at the end of the day, the .com is quite important, but I reckon the .co could be just as profitable for you and just as lucrative in using for a domain name. I'm actually using the .co for this new brand that we've started. I couldn't get the .com yet. It's going to cost me money. I'm going to have to buy it off someone. So I'm choosing to go with the .co and the .com.au to start with. The next thing that I do in the business name searching and the business name, I guess, concept is go and do a trademark search. So let's have a look to see if Dave's Drones has let's start in Australia because I'm an Aussie. Let's go and search. The Australian IP, Australia has no trademarks that come up with Dave's Drones. And then I'd go to a worldwide search or an international search and just see if anywhere in the world someone has registered anything to do with Dave's Drones. And it looks like I'm free there. I could technically register davesdrones.com.au, davesdrones.co, start a website, start a business name, and get cracking with my drone business. That's exactly what I've done. And then the next step from here is I'll call my accountant. So I've got a corporate accountant that does all of my end of year tax, all of my business registrations and company registrations. So I'll call Sonia and have a chat to her and get her to actually register this new trading name and this new company name that I've come up with. So that's it for this video. It's been quite a lengthy one. Thanks for hanging in there with me. The next episode, we are going to go over setting up the Shopify store, the theme that I use, why I use that theme. And let's just get in there and see how fast you could personally be running your own Shopify store.